One of the first few videos I posted on my YouTube channel were my experiences with my first Mac OS device, MacBook Pro 2012. It was a 13-inch model, non-Retina. I stated in that video that I did want to sell that, and I finally did. And so I replaced it with a Razer Blade 2014 14-inch. This is the model with the touchscreen, 3200 by 1800. It's a very beautiful machine. I'm very impressed with it. I've only had it 2 days. I basically already replaced my Asus G750 with it. It's slim, it's powerful. I got it used for around $870. Highly recommend them if you can find them anywhere near that price. If you need a thin laptop like a MacBook Pro, editing, gaming on the go. We'll get more into that later, but yep, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the review. Highly recommend it. The specifications for this Razer Blade 2014 is a Intel Core i7 4720HQ. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's not upgradable. This particular model has 256 gigabytes of M2 storage, or SSD storage, of course, and the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 870. It's quite a monster for considering it's 0.7 inches thick. It's a little tiny bit thicker than a 13-inch MacBook Pro. On the bottom of the computer we have the 2 fans and 2 very grippy rubber feet. They feel really nice. Doesn't move the computer very much. Lifts it up off the ground enough so that it can get enough airflow under the fans. On the top of the computer, of course, we have the beautiful aluminum lid with the 2 little ridges and the backlit Razer logo, obviously shining green. On the front of the computer, we have the 1-finger hinge. You have the cutout where you can put your finger and lift up the lid. Works pretty well, but at one point you do have to lift it up more, and then we also have a green LED light showing you when it is awake, or sleeping rather. On the top of the computer we have the power button, and then we also have 2 speakers right here. Sound pretty nice. We'll get to a test of that later. On the left side of the computer we do have a power input, which is a 150 watt charger, 2 USB 3 ports, color-coded Razer green, and our combo microphone headphone jack. On the right side of the computer we have the Kensington lock, an HDMI port, and another USB 3, also color-coded Razer green. On the back of the computer we don't really have anything other than this part on mine by the hinge. It's just dented a little bit. Part of the reason this computer was $870 instead of the retail $2,600. This is the webcam quality. It does record 1080p at 30 frames a second. It's not a bad webcam. It's pretty nice in terms of most laptops. It tracks pretty well. Face focus is pretty quick. No complaints there. The system does boot up extremely fast, a little faster than my Asus G750 with the SSD I put in it. So, good job. If you need a laptop that'll boot up very quickly. Most do nowadays, but this one is just a little bit faster than anything I've used. The keyboard has 20 levels of backlighting, or 15, I've heard of different things. It's plenty bright and gets plenty dim. The keys are green themselves. And the trackpad as well is very, very nice. I've heard a lot of people complain that the trackpad buttons are too thin, but I don't find them any issue. And they are not too loud, and the trackpad is very well at tracking. Starting at relatively low volume, 20 right here, move up to 50, And I'll head up to 100. The display is 3200 by 1800. It is also a touchscreen. It's plenty dim and reasonably bright enough to see over the unreasonable glare it produces. The bezels are pretty thick. That's really the only complaint I have with it. The touch responsiveness is very good, although most people don't really have a use for a touchscreen on a laptop, me being one of them. But it's there if you need it. So if we close the laptop up here, we will get a satisfying thud. And of course, it is relatively easy to open. I do recommend holding one finger at the base once you get it open past the hinge, but better than most laptops where you kind of have to grab it from both corners to lift it up. It's no big deal. Very similar to a MacBook. As far as battery life goes, most people test it. It gets around 4 or 5 hours with light use. Gaming usually around an hour to an hour and a half. I'm going to use this mainly plugged in, and I can't imagine that most people are going to be playing games on the road anyway. So overall, shouldn't really be that much of an issue, in my opinion. And the LED indicator does also flash orange when it is running low on battery.